last time we were together, you had given me the word clarity, last month actually. And the question that I guess that I wanted to ask you was that we've been talking a lot about being on our high-flying disc and maintaining that. And I'm curious to know, with coworkers or relationships or people that we have in our life, if they're having a really tough time or a go at something and they're in a really kind of negative state or a negative place, I'm curious. I would like to know, what can I do, to not be at the effect of that, to be able to maintain that high-flying disc state, and then also what could I do to help that person, if anything?
Well, the thing that's tricky about it, clarity is such a wonderful state of being because it translates into so much wonderful experience. When you're clear-minded, you are more effective and more efficient. You are a better communicator. In other words, clarity really means aligned. Alignment and clarity are the same word, but clarity is more the physical effect of alignment. It's more, we would say that clarity is like the manifestation of alignment. And so and the way to feel that is just feel the difference between clarity and confusion, and just ask yourself which you prefer. And that sort of foggy feeling, or that sort of stumbling around, not being clear about something, as compared to clarity. Clarity is such a wonderful feeling. And so it's something that you accomplish through deliberate focus. In other words, clarity is the result of a lot of momentum that is absent of resistance. And so then when you focus upon someone who is having a hard time, you are doing exactly the opposite. You got to a place of clarity by not focusing on that, and you will not maintain a place of clarity when you then do focus on that. That's as clear as we can be. So how does that fit in, Abraham? How do I be an uplifter? I want to be an uplifter. How do I be an uplifter? And we say, you just have to make sure that the attention that you give to any subject does not disrupt your clarity. And in time, you just find yourself here. Oh, you're really going to like this. This is the best way of explaining this. So, do you acknowledge that your greatest value to others comes to them from you, or is influenced from you when you are on your high-flying disc?
Yep.
So, and do you acknowledge that most people are there and not there and there and not there and there and not there? So you're all sort of zigging and zagging around. And law of attraction is bringing you together. And so a lot of times you rendezvous with people that you care about, not on the high-flying disc, because let's say they're not there very often. So if you're going to have any kind of a meaningful relationship with some people, feels like you got to come down to Henryville where they are. And you feel committed to having relationships with some people, and so you're willing to sacrifice your high-flying disc in order to be where you need to be in order for them to hear you or you to hear them. But everybody is occasionally there, because everybody wakes up there. Sometimes you only stay for a split second, but everybody wakes up there. So what about the idea of you just being so consistently there that when they randomly show up there, you have a moment, instead of having your moments in frustration? So you just increase the odds of being able to, with clarity, say the right thing at the right time, or be in the right place together with someone if you're consistently there, because you're only going to reach them when they're there and you're there. Now, that sort of puts teaching and mentoring in a whole new place, doesn't it? Because so many teachers there are a lot of people that go looking for problems so that they can solve them. And it just doesn't work out very well, because when you look for a problem, you've left the disc. So now ask your question again. How can I help someone Help them out of what? Help them out of confusion? Be clear. You can't get poor enough to help poor people be prosperous, and you can't get sick enough to help sick people get well, and you can't become confused enough to help confused people become clear. You must be prosperous if you are going to encourage prosperity, and you must have clarity if you are going to encourage clarity, and you must feel love if you're going to encourage love, and there is no other way around it. So if we were standing in any of your physical shoes, we'd just get there and stay there as best we can and rendezvous with whoever happens to show up and let law of attraction do the matchmaking. And we would not go out to save the world, because when you try to save the world, you'll leave your disc and then you'll just bang around with them. And no one wants to hear that. In other words, Esther knows that in her times of sadness and discouragement, once Jerry made his transition, that there were many people who were in their high-flying place that reached out to her, and she appreciates that they reached out. But they never connected with her unless she was in the vicinity. And she took that as her complete responsibility, you see. And so, do you ever like to be felt sorry for? Mm-hmm. Do you ever want to be caught in your diminished moment? Do you want to be caught in your mistakes or caught in your down moments? You don't. You want the spotlight shined on you when you are at your best, you see. And you want to shine the spotlight on others from being at your place of being at your best, and when they are at their best as well.
And if someone's chronically in that lower state and I maintain that higher state,
then they're not very much in your life, are they? Because law of attraction doesn't put you together. And if you get together a lot, then your first two statements cannot be accurate. If they're chronically there, and you're chronically not, and you're chronically together, somebody's chronically not where they chronically think they are.
Yeah.
But you know, you can be there, and then take a dip for a moment, and be there, and take a dip for a moment, and be there. Just don't dip so much that you lose your place, you see. Mm-hmm. So we're not asking you to not help people. We're asking you to get on your high-flying disc and then think about them. But it's easier to think about people who are having trouble when you're not with them, because when you're with them, what you're observing makes it difficult for you to maintain your we were talking about healing earlier, and we haven't talked about Jesus and healing for a while, but he was able to heal. There have been many, because he did not allow himself to see you in your sickness. Instead, he knew you in your wellness. And he didn't heal everyone. That's something that you're not talking about much when you tell that story. He couldn't heal those who were not in the vicinity. And when someone asked or thanked him, he said, "It is your faith that has made you whole. It was your proximity. It was your vibration. It was your expectation. It was your belief in me, maybe," is what he was saying. But something happened to change your vibration to a frequency that allowed for a moment the dog to get up. Yeah. Really good. Something more?
If I may, just on a slightly different note, I've been listening to, I'm a consultant, and getting people to, and I was listening to one of your vibrational marketing talks, and it was about this person who was an artist, and he said, people love my art, they appreciate my art, but they don't really buy my art. And you said you're affirming exactly what's happening. And so I'm curious, would like to know if in helping people to make a decision, if I know that it's a good thing for them to do, I'm a bit insecure about where my boundary is and helping them to make that decision, where I'll back off a little bit, and I would like to know if there's something I can do to improve upon that and do that better.
Well, if the best that you can do and the most that you can offer to anyone is clarity. So when you focus upon something and you feel sure about it, then speak from your place of clarity. But of course, they have to rendezvous with you there. It's such an interesting thing. alignment itself is rendezvousing with another mind. It's just rendezvousing with a very certain mind, with a very sure mind, with a very mind of well-being, you see. So if you are consistently on your high-flying disc, when you offer encouragement of any kind to anyone, you're giving them the best that you can give them. And they'll hear it or they won't hear it, but you're giving them the best that you can give them. The question that we are hearing from you, we hear it often, is how can I help people to help themselves? How can I help people be in a better place? How can I help people to solve their problems? How can I help people feel better? And we say, there's only one way of doing that, and that is you have to feel good yourself and see them as you want them to be. And so it could be helpful if you would do some imagining of people connecting to their broadest, sourciest of resources and before they make decisions. Quite often, when you're a consultant or a mentor or a teacher or a healer or a doctor or anyone that someone is looking to for guidance, so often they come to you in their weakness. Mm-hmm. They come to you because they're uncertain. They come to you because they're not clear. They come to you because they aren't clear and they want somebody who is. And so be clear. Tell them what you know. Tell them how you feel. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them what you'd do if you were standing in their physical shoes. And then say to them, but you got to feel like doing it. Because they can't, and this is the big thing. This is what you've learned. This is what your life experience has shown you. We love saying this to all of you. You can get into clarity. And you can advise someone about what you would do. And they might take the action because you told them to do it, but they won't get the results unless they're in the vibration that you are. Isn't that interesting? People say, just tell me what to do. And what you want to say is, first I want to tell you how to feel. But just tell me what to do. I don't have time for that. Just tell me, what would you do? I'd get on the high-flying disc. Don't give me that airy-fairy stuff. I don't want to hear that. I want to know what you would do. But you have to understand, you say to your client, what I do from my high-flying disc, even if you do exactly the same thing that I did from my high-flying disc and you do it from your disc of fear or worry, you'll get different results than I did. Even if you do exactly the same thing, because it's not about what we do, it's about how we vibe. It's about how we feel. It's about the goodness that we let in. And you can't let goodness in. You cannot let the degree of goodness in through your action that you can through your vibration. Esther had a wonderful seminar in San Antonio. And then an open house out at the property, and hundreds of people came. It was so much fun. And lots of people said, I can't believe that you're opening your home and that you're opening your buildings and you're opening your treehouse and you're just opening this to everyone. And Esther said, there's too much here for one person to appreciate. And we want you all to feel that way, that there is so much to appreciate that you want everyone in on it. You want everybody in on it. You want everybody in on the energy, you see. So you can offer it, but they got to figure out how to get in. So you got to teach them more than your action. You got to teach them how you got to the inspiration for the action. Abraham, is that right? You mean I can get on my high-flying disc and I can be inspired to an action, and are you saying that other people that do exactly the same thing that I did will get different results? Go figure. Because it isn't about what you're doing, it's about what you're letting in, you see. Sometimes action can lead to positive expectation. But mentoring based on action does not go very far. You got to mentor with your heart, with your vibration, with your knowing, with your clarity, with your clarity, with your clarity. Yeah, really good.
Thank you.